Hey guys, I'm CutNH and today's video is a little late, I know. I had so much art coursework, but I'm here with a My Hero One's Justice 2 video, and this time it's a tier list showing how likely these 20 characters are of being in the game. The 80 to 90% bracket of people who most likely will be added to the game. The 60 to 70% bracket of the people who more likely than not will be in the game. The 50% bracket of people who have an equal chance of being in the game than they do not being in the game. The 30 to 40% bracket of people who might be in the game but I'm not too confident. The 10 to 20% bracket of people who most likely won't be in the game. And the less than 5% bracket of the people who have a really slim chance of being in the game, but there's always a chance they might make it. So we're going to start with the less than 5% bracket and work our way up. So in this bracket we have a Jiro and Mikuro. I have put Mikuro down there because a lot of people I saw wanted her in the game, however she is a character who isn't really that much of a main piece in the arc, so I don't think she'll be in the game at all. Secondly, Jiro is a character who I think could be in the game, but we already have a lot of Class 1A characters and I don't think they'll add any more in after Mina and Minita. Next, in the 10 to 20% bracket, we have Zero, Best Jeanist, Seiji, and Gang Orca. I have put Zero in this bracket because, although he still isn't that relevant in this arc, he does a bit more than a Jiro, but that's really the only reason he is up here. Best Jeanist is in this bracket because he plays a big role in the eventual capture of All for One, but after that he doesn't do anything and his quirk wouldn't really work in the game. I have put Seiji here because he is one of the main battles in the license exam arc, however his quirk really would do nothing in the game. Finally, Gang Orca is here because he plays a big part in the license exam arc, but there are so many more related characters that they could add. Adding him would be a wasted slot. Next up is the 30 to 40% bracket. In here we have Kurogiri, Hawks, Mount Lady, Kendo and Midnight. Kurogiri is here because I really like him, to be fair, but he could also be added for his significance in the League of Villains, however his quirk is what draws him back as he is just glorified Uber. Hawks is here as he is a future main character, and as we don't know how much of the story is going to be covered, he might be added to the game, but we don't know. We also have Mount Lady, who is kind of in the same boat as Ryukyu, but with less significance, and therefore she's in the bracket just below. Kendo is another character who I think has a chance of being in the game, and her quirk supports it, but she is pretty much Hagakure in the current arc, so that holds her back. Finally we have Midnight, who is a pro hero who is a strong contender for the game, but again, her quirk isn't that much of a fighting one and therefore she might be a bit boring. Now in the 50% bracket I've got Ryukyu, Spinner, Kamui Woods and Crimson Riot. I'm sure it's obvious why I've put Ryukyu in this bracket, and if you haven't yet seen it, I did an entire video on my thoughts on Ryukyu, so go and check that out. Spinner is here because we don't really have a character with a sword and I'd really like to see one. He would be unique and would actually work quite well as a character, but I'm unsure how well. Kamui Woods is here because he'd make a great fighting game character and his quirk could work really well, but again, don't know of his relevance in this arc. Finally, Crimson Riot because even though he is in my video of predicted characters, he doesn't really have any quirks that we know much about, and that's why he's in here too. Now for the penultimate bracket. In here we only have two, Gentle and Bubble Girl. Gentle is here as he is the main villain for the Cultural Festival arc, so it's a no-brainer that he would be this high in the list. However, his quirk isn't that flashy and we don't know how much of the story the game will cover, and that's why he's in here. Bubble Girl is also here as she is a critical part of the main storyline and she has a quirk that would work super well, like I said in my prediction video. However, her quirk, like Gentle's, isn't that flashy and might not be right for a fighting game. And last but not least, in the pretty much in the game bracket, we have Chronostasis, Rapper and Shindo. Chronostasis will most likely be in the game as his quirk is perfect for this and would work really well. Again, I've said all of this in my other video. Rapper, as I'm making this, has just been announced as a character, so that school is a character who I don't want to be in the game, but he's been announced, so I'll have to truce. And finally Shindo, because he is the model student for this game, to be honest. So, that was my tier list. If you agree or disagree with anything, the link to it will be in the description below. Post your ones and tag me at CutNH with 2 C's. And I'll see you in the next one.